So today I want to share with you the emotional impact of fostering on families. Either your families or your families within your family or your extended families, some of us for families who are miles and miles away. And I want to share with you a little bit, at least through my experience, the impact of, fostering on the members of your family. So I'm going to start with the emotional impact on how fostering affects for the kids and the families within. In other words, within my home, within my roof. Yes. So fostering is more of a journey that no one can explain to you where things are going or where things are coming from. But also when you get kids, there's no introduction. You just get a phone call, you get kids come in, and that's it. And all of a sudden, the kids in your family or the people in your family really begin learning. It's not just me as a parent, but they're all dealing with a stranger in their home, and that can take an emotional toll to the kids and the families you already have in your home. Remember, this person or this kid is a stranger. They don't know the rules. They don't know what belongs to who. They don't know whose toys are they. They just show up. And sometimes it can also create jealousy as well. When you have two little ones or when you have an incoming child who's really tiny, small, and need more of your attention, that really creates an emotional impact on your other kids because they feel like, wait, you're giving so much love. All your time you're spending towards this little new one. What about us? And that can cause really emotional impacts on the children. It's not something you can control, but that's kind of what happens. Different than if I got a teenager. A teenager, they don't need much of me. They need, in other words, to really work and come alongside with the other teenagers. But also that one doesn't come easily. Remember, even if they're older, that means they're curious to know what your other kids get to do. The boundaries, the things they have, and also the chemistry as well. And that can also cause an impact, can cause really emotional impact to the children. Because your other kids are really trying to be hospitable. They're trying to learn about this child. But the other kid too is also testing their waters. They're trying to learn as well. And that can be really a fiction. Sometimes I have kids who are a little bit more, maybe quieter, they're introverts, so they don't really talk much, or they like to, be in their space. And then you have a teenager who comes in, or another kid who comes in, who's an extraordinary extrovert. That causes stress, but also that causes tension between the teenagers as well. And I've seen that happen in my home. When one talks, one doesn't, and one overshadows or takes over, and the other one feels like, hey, you just came in and you're just taking my space. And that too can cause an emotional impact to the kids in the home. How do I deal with it? Well, you get to really learn. As I said, it's not like I know the child how they are gonna really impact my kids. You learn along the way, and then you adjust and help the others as well. Creating space, make sure that the other person who's more of a quiet person isn't overshadowed by the other one. But also to educating the other one who's quiet about the behavior, not behavior, but the characteristics of the other one. So he understands that, hey, this person isn't taking over or intentionally doing so, but it's just who they are. And that really helps navigate that whole challenge. So that can really create a challenge as well. The other part is the needs. Some kids are needy than others. Sometimes some kids just need more of your time. Even when they are teenagers, they're yappy. They talk to you often than your other kid. And sometimes that can create jealousy as well, because the other one is really taking not most of your time, but most of conversation really towards that person. And that also can create really conflict and emotional impact in our kids. So how do I deal with that? Knowing each one's need and making sure that I concentrate and I give time to the other kid who doesn't ask much or who's quieter, that I make sure I give them their time as well. And we do it in different ways. One, we get to spend time together. One, I go play with them. Like, you make sure the other person feels also seen, heard, and loved equally the same way. And so those can really cause impact in our families as well. So those are a few things that I have to share too. All the other part is, when you get your first kid, you have to buy them literally everything. Most of them clothes, you have to enroll them in school, you have to do more things for them. And the other kids who have been in a home for a long time, they might feel like, why are you paying so much attention to that kid? Well, there are needs that need to be done for them to be able to be situated or settled in a home. But for the other kids, don't really see it the same way. So if I was buying a few things, one, I make sure that I do it without the other kids seeing, or do it in a different way. Or if I do, I bring them alongside. They also pick up a few things they need. So they feel all of them are being catered for, or all of them are being given the same voice. And that's something for me as a parent, I have to cautiously think about. Not just because this kid just came and I'm like, okay, sure. I can give you all my time. I can make sure I show you all the favorite things that you want. No. That does not work the same way. It can create really emotional impact to our kids when they feel you're giving more attention to one and they're being left out. So as a parent, you navigate and figure out how to do that. Remember, not every child I have in my home is related. Yeah? So that also can cause trouble. You have groups of kids who will say, well, we're gonna stick together since those are not our brothers and sisters. And that can cause also tension as well, because you have a few siblings ganging or conniving or really kind of making a plan to go against the other. And that can be tricky. So you have to figure out, especially when you have two siblings on this end and two siblings on this end, to make sure they gel together, that they are not really in some way feeling like, well, they have to go against each other, which can happen really, really easily. Even when they're the same age, when they are threatened, that can happen. The other emotional impact that happens is, I'm a single parent. So think about, if I have 6 kids or 7 kids, they all need my attention. And that really causes tension because they watch how you treat the new ones and the regular kids, not regular, but your own kids who have been in their home for all these years. And that too can really be impactful on the kid. The new ones coming, they're new, they're trying to learn and see, hey, you're my dad, so I'm gonna respond the way. But the other kids who are in are also thinking, I hope you're not gonna take my dad. I hope you're not gonna do that. And that can cause tension, So how do we do it? Or how do I do it? Well, I make sure that I truly be there for my kids. At the same time, really educate them and show them like, hey, these kids who are new, some things they need to know, But also I get to show my kids as well. Like, hey, you are my kids. No one is gonna take your space. You are my children. And navigating that at all times can be absolutely tricky. And I'm not kidding, and I'm being honest. That can be tricky because giving water to one child and you don't give the other, well, you're showing favoritism. Giving one a cup of coffee, well, not a cup of coffee, but a drinking new bottle and the other one not, well, that can cause favoritism. So you learn how you really navigate on how you can be there for your kids. Oh, here's a simple thing that can cause trouble. Watching TV and sitting with a set of siblings here and the other one on the other side. Well, how do you navigate? How do you do it? Well, here's how I do it. I prefer to sit on a single chair and hold my toddler and let the other ones really enjoy themselves on their own on their own chairs, and they don't feel like I'm favoring one or the other. So you can think about, as a parent, navigating that at all times, it is, but it's something we are aware that we try to make sure that we don't cause more emotional impact to our children at home. The other part is, I have 2 girls and boys. And sometimes, not like I favor my girls, but my girls have, needs that nobody else needs or nobody else can meet. And I make sure that I'm there for my daughter, especially my older daughter. But that can cause really friction between the other boys as well. Why do you always favor? She gets away with anything. I mean. There are some you can fight, but there are some you're just not gonna fight. And just be the dad. Not that you're favoring, but you make sure you take care of some of your kids. But I try all my best to make sure I don't create those divides, that I make sure they are all kids, they all play, they all enjoy the same toys, they all enjoy the same videos, they all enjoy anything, absolutely, together. And that's really big fun. Think about, what movie can you watch? When you have 6 kids, everyone telling you a different movie. Let's watch this. So in my home, to make sure that I don't create emotional impact on my other kids is we all have alternatives. So I write on a piece of paper who chose yesterday, what they chose, and who's next. So they always know, hey, I am next, you know? So they alternate on choosing what TV, what cartoon, what program they're gonna watch, that everyone has an opportunity to choose. You know, in that way for me, I'm making sure that my children feel seen, heard, and known. Like everyone has a voice, everyone is seen, everyone is known, and everyone is loved. By creating those chats that they know, hey, it's my turn to hold the remote, it's my time to choose. And that has really worked so well. But if you don't control that, it can really cause turmoil or emotional impact to our kids at home. Yes. Thank you for watching. We really appreciate you, our village.
And we do. And we started a new membership program where if you hit the join button, you can get access to early videos, ask questions, and live stream, and you'll be able to get coffee with us. He wanted to do it by himself, but I'm staying with him. So thank you so much. Make sure that you hit that join button to help support us.
Absolutely. That will help us do more room makeovers and help children. It doesn't matter how small, it will truly help us. You are our village, and without you, we cannot do much. So join.